Subject: Manifesto. Writing Elliot Rodgers-style explanation for my forthcoming actions. 34 years of suppressed rage, expressed in one evening of US-style bloodlust. Welcome back to another thrilling edition of Garry's Stalker, the series where we learn all about the man who stalked Garry Newman, the creator of Garry's Mod, for years. In today's episode, we're learning some crazy backstory that we never knew before regarding the Stalker. Now, as usual, before we begin, I want to remind you that the Stalker reads all of the comments left on these videos, so be careful what you say. And of course, if you're not caught up on the series, we've got an entire playlist with all of the episodes. I will pin the link to that playlist in the comments below. And as always, please tap that like button, or you might be stalked next. Subject: her name. How can I force her to like me? I think it'd help me to be more focused on the dev stuff. This is what she looks like. Photo of her, taken from her friend's Facebook photos of a wedding. Yeah, women love programmers. Well, you managed to get them while still starting up? Pre-Gmod? She knows of my geekish leanings. She was my former psychologist. Seemed pretty flirty with me sometimes, and that stuff I told her made her feel very sad. But when I tried to pursue it after our last session, she reminded me, "It is against the rules." This was a year ago, though. I've been messaging her since, without reply, until the Asperger team told me to stop or face police consequences. In hindsight, that bed-breaking invite may not have been such a good plan. Obviously, not replying to his emails and threatening with police action isn't enough of a no for Andrew. In my experience, people don't like to be pursued. Show your obvious interest, then move on to someone else. Nothing is more attractive than something you can't have. It's a win-win, because you either find someone you like and who likes you, or they start pursuing you. I like it. That's good advice. Thanks, smiley face. It's weird how that works, and psychology in general. Maybe the thing that's unavailable is perceived to be of higher value. Oh man, why can't I ever have a normal day? Muslim women before, from a dating site, is now offering me £40 for sex and wanting to call me from a private number. What the fuck is up with that? My spidey senses are screaming, danger! She's not unattractive either. Dating became his new primary goal. Talk of games and programming had stopped. His emails were all about women, girlfriends, dating, sex, his frustrations about women in the UK, how he'd have to date from another country if he was to stand a chance, inventing imaginary obstacles to his happiness to cloak his total lack of self-awareness. Subject: angry messages. This is the kind of thing I have to deal with, as well as generally being ignored by them. What a lovely guy you are. Clearly can't handle rejection. Why don't you stop messaging girls who are clearly out of your league and go back to wanking off into a wet flannel like the dirty hobbit bastard you are? Giving girls abuse because they are not interested in a fat, ugly pig like you. Oh, and I've just had a look at your pictures, and I really would remove them, because with a face like that, you are never going to get a date. You look like you've been set fire to and put out with a spade. If I looked like that, then I'd just fucking kill myself. You are tragic. I like how you assume the reason I'm not interested is because I'm racist, and not because you are horrifyingly ugly. Dodged a bullet. There was never any bullet to dodge, as I'd never be interested in a parasite like you. Your pictures alone are enough to make anyone's stomach churn. So if I saw you in person, I'd just projectile vomit all over you. Hey, it might even make you look better. Good one with the Hitler comment. Did it take you all night to come up with that genius putdown? Anyway, I'm going to block you now, because as entertaining as this has been, I don't want to be wasting any more of your precious time. No doubt, it won't be long before someone gets the urge to chuck you under a bus. Oh, and if you ever feel the need to jump off a bridge, no fucker will miss you, so feel free. It will save anyone else having to endure the discomfort of being in your company. Bye, douchebag. Extreme? I mean, what did I do? Apart from looking a bit foreign, which is a terrible crime apparently. Okay, I called her an ugly hairy footface or something. But that's because she rejected me.
and I'm tired of rejection!
He was obviously becoming abusive to the women on the dating sites too. Can you think of any argument you've won that improved your life? Do you think of all the women you've been rejected by, if you'd have accepted it graciously and thanked them for their honesty, they might have seen it as a positive attribute? Instead of turning on them and attacking them and confirming that their decision to reject you was the right one?
Not markedly so.
No.
I've started doing that, but it doesn't make them change their minds. Or at least not quickly. After several hours, they still don't acknowledge my nice message. Also, they don't usually explicitly reject, they just ignore, like you don't even exist. I think they do it for a power trip. I just need a few dozen million pounds to get hold of a smallpox strain, hire some top geneticists to clandestinely weaponize it, specifically so it only targets Northern European and Germanic genomes with the X chromosome, i.e. English chicks. Then I'll be the one who has the last laugh. I'll also release a Sideshow Bob-style video admitting full responsibility and laughing my ass off on it for a few hours. You and yours will be conveniently out the country at the time, so as not to be infected. Still working on how exactly that'll work.
Ignoring? Abuse. Replying? Abuse.
Sorry, but I've been banging my head against the wall my entire adult life. With almost no moral support, losing the best years of my life. And now you think I can just forgive and forget? Watch that video about Elliot Rodger I sent you. The guy keeps reiterating how he thinks Roger's parents were aloof and indifferent, and essentially set the wheels in motion for his eventual massacre. If Rogers had been more patient, he could have taken 6,000, or 6 million, or 6 billion, instead of just 6. I need to be more patient, gather the resources, then at the right time, open the gates of hell personally. And if it looks like it'll never happen, there's always the sword spree I've mentioned so many times. But in really, 25 million women of this country need to go. And if their men try to prevent it, then them too. Some grudges are impossible to get past. They will never give me justice. They will never give me compensation. What does that leave? Revenge.
You want to kill thousands of people because girls won't suck your dick? Don't you see how crazy that makes you? Do you think that women would even be safe with you? Or are they more likely to end up in a suitcase on a motorway embankment? You are getting rejected by these women. So what? You don't know them, so why bother? Being abusive is just confirming their decisions, and it's showing that you give a fuck. Have a wank and do something else. Something that doesn't involve obsessing on your failures.
You want to kill thousands of people? No. Millions. Possibly billions. Because girls won't suck your dick. It's more than just sex. Try to visualize, and it's not going to be easy. How you would feel if you were my advanced age, had barely a single decent memory to show for your whole wretched existence, hadn't been on a holiday for 21 years, had never done the whole clubbing thing, which is pretty much mandatory in the UK, had nothing but bad luck your entire life, had indifferent parents, had extended and indifferent family, all living thousands of miles away, had grown up an only child because your kid's sister had been murdered by the NHS. Made worse, further, that it's a much prized institution among the British. Hadn't had your lifelong depression diagnosed until your 20s. Had been diagnosed with this insane Asperger crap, when clearly all my problems are due to culture, bad environment, bad parenting, and bad luck. Had been called good-looking your whole life while women ignore you. Had been in jail for 5 weeks, essentially because a neighbor didn't like my face. Had people mutter and think negative things about you just because you're a bit darker than them, and have a weird surname that despite having only 2 syllables, the locals refused to pronounce properly. Had to wait until 28 to even kiss a girl, and have low-quality sex with her, not because she fancied you, but because she was a street hooker, funding her crack cocaine and heroin addiction. That was all just the tip of the iceberg. I could continue. I'm sorry, but my entire life is a con. Don't you see how crazy that makes you? Because most people haven't walked a single step in my shoes, let alone a whole mile. Do you think that women would even be safe with you?
English chicks, these days, no. Hence the need to forget them.
Foreign chicks? Absolutely. They haven't treated me with such contempt. Or are they more likely to end up in a suitcase on a motorway embankment? That's a possible upside of their rejection. But it's also made the grudge what it is. Instead of one suitcase, there'll be millions of body bags. You treat a man like a wild animal, and he'll become one. Look at Hitler and Stalin. They both had troubled lives, and how that turned out. What right do I have to do anything bad? What right did society have to throw me away, torture, and ostracize me for 38 years? Only blood, fear, tears, terror, and worship will cleanse this pain. You are getting rejected by these women. So what? You don't know them. So why bother? Being abusive is just confirming their decisions, and it's showing that you give a fuck. Have a wank and do something else. Something that doesn't involve obsessing your failures. While I'll be the first person to speak highly of wanking, how will it give me a family? Sad face.
It seems like you blame everything but yourself for these problems. Your parents suck. They didn't support you. That's why you are? So stop contacting them. Move on. Be a grown-up. Liverpool sucks. It's the reason you feel like you do. Move out. Go live anywhere else. British girls are sluts? You can't find a wife here? Go find one somewhere else. In the end, you have got to look at everyone else and think, these are all doing it. I have no real excuse. And get off your arse and actually do something. No one gives you anything in this life. You need to stop crying, stand up, and take it.
Subject. Manifesto. Writing Elliot Rodgers-style explanation for my forthcoming actions, but not 140 pages worth. No one needs that much detail, just the basics. Then I tool up, maybe plan a bit. Then, blam. 34 years of suppressed rage, expressed in one evening of US-style bloodlust. Hopefully, it'll inspire copycats too. I just wanted to be treated like a human being. But that was asking too much of my parents and the Scousers. Wild animal it is then. Subject. Dealing with anger. How do you deal with anger? Well, rage. For example, the insane BS of 2008 and similar things. You seemed to just get back to work. Or did you do something else? Maybe I should buy a punching bag, but I can see it getting broken in a few days.
I don't really get angry. Even when you are at your worst, I wasn't angry. I wasn't upset. It isn't useful. It causes you to make mistakes. You can't control what other people say or do, but you can control your reaction to what they say or do.
Subject. Fatwa lifted. Okay, the plan is abandoned. Well, downsized. English women are now safe. Asterisk, crowd cheers. Instead, the Scousers will get the full brunt of my rage. The women, especially. But quite frankly, if someone detonated a nuclear device here, would anyone really give much of a shit? It'd do a few billion pounds worth of improvements. I still think I should place emphasis on finding a foreign chick though. Easier said than done. Where are they? Subject. Backpedaling. I so wanna plow/be plowed by this chick. Okay, Cupid link. But we've spent the last few days sending each other page after page of insults, covering pretty much every topic. How to fix, but without losing face. I can tell she's a pure slut. So it'd be awesome to turn that to my advantage.
Andrew forwarded an email he had sent to his mom onto me.
I want you to know and hope you can believe I am genuine when I say how desperate and how sorry I feel when you talk like this. When I think about your childhood and your life and my failings, I know that when I say I did the best I could and knew that that's not enough and doesn't change things or take the pain away, I wish I had been a different person/mother. I'm still trying.
Shut up!
Even though it so often feels like walking on broken glass, don't know what else to do.
Continue doing what you've always done. Nothing!
I wish I had more energy and better health, but I guess that's related to the kind of life I've had. I wish I could turn the clock back and give you, and myself too, a different life.
Stop distracting me. I have 7.2 billion lives to destroy. Although it'll be closer to 8 or 9 billion by the time I have the resources / technology. The only thing you can all do for me is make sure you're all still around then, so you can have a front row seat to the biggest horror show in human history. P.S. If I don't do this, you better believe that somewhere, someone else will. In which case, it is my duty to seek them out and assist. P.P.S. The only way you could have allowed all of this to transpire is if it was by design. Incompetence at this level cannot be possible anywhere. You architectured this outcome, and with Freemasonry in the family, it makes the theory even more credible. Just how many more secrets are there? Thing is, when I'm ready, I will be doing things my own way. No funny handshake brigade to try acting as my handlers manipulate me towards carrying out their little self-serving agendas. No way was all this just bad luck, oversight, and incompetence. The idea it was is hilarious. I will eventually turn on them too. Be careful when creating monsters, for they may turn on you.
Really can't believe how disrespectful you are to your mom. You're what, 36? And you really act like a spoiled brat towards her? I know you're going to come back with a list of terrible things she's done to you in your life, but if Alex gives me half the shit you give your mom, I'd completely disown him and never talk to him again. That speaks volumes about how much she cares, in my opinion. As you get older, you're meant to make your parents' lives easier, not harder. If they don't care about you, if they've done terrible things, turn your back on them. Be a man. Grow up. Don't bully them with it via every day.
But if Alex gives me half the shit you give your mom, I'd completely disown him and never talk to him again. Why would he? You're not planning to destroy him. You hold a grudge against your dad? No? Why not? Maybe he never gave you a reason to. Remember some months back when you were explaining why you, understandably, held a grudge against me? Well, it's the same thing. If you treat someone badly enough, or they stand by idly while you suffer enough, long enough, while you were under the impression they were your allies, what are they supposed to think of you? That speaks volumes about how much she cares, in my opinion. What if the parents fuck up from start to finish? Fail to impart useful life lessons? Fail to leave the kid ready to face the world as an adult? You won't do that to Alex, because 1, you seem like a decent human being. Probably one of the better examples I've encountered, in fact. 2, you are certainly not evil or insane. 3, your own parents seem to have done a good job, or at least an acceptable job, thus leaving you with a positive legacy. 4, you seem to have had plenty of support in general. In reality, my parents' parents were also evil. It may even go back a few generations. One of my great-great-grandmothers in Spain threw herself down a well. Maybe she was demon-possessed. Maybe it was just untreated depression. Maybe one of our ancestors bullied a little old gypsy centuries ago, and they returned the favor by cursing them and their children and their children's children forever. Who knows? My mom likes to use her own crappy parents as an excuse for her own failings. Why didn't she just have an abortion if she had an inkling she'd be such a bad parent? What was your honest character assessment of me after 2008? Insane? Evil? Had you ever seen or experienced anything like it before or since? Where might such evil or insanity come from? As you get older, you're meant to make your parents' lives easier, not harder. Respect is not earned? If they don't care about you, if they've done terrible things. What they do is worse. They say they do, insist upon it, but never demonstrate it. A bit weird? Turn your back on them. Be a man. Grow up. Like Hitler and Stalin did when they lost their parents and had no choice? I'm working on it.
Talking to Andrew was getting tiring. He was treating every sentence and email as an argument that he had to win. He wasn't absorbing any advice. He wasn't questioning his behavior. It wasn't making him think. If he wasn't listening, I was wasting our time.
Subject. Plan. CC 6 people, including his mom and dad. You know what I'm going to do with my Saturday night? While everyone else is out having fun and enjoying themselves, and feeling, deludedly so, that others actually care for them,
and are not simply using them. I am going to get really drunk, take some painkillers, but not enough to overdose. The combination should be enough to make me very tolerant towards pain. I hope. If not, tears. Then, I will take one of my knives and literally carve my face up, deliberately and methodically scarring myself, but not destroying functionalities such as eyes.
I will look grotesque by anyone's definition.
The place and my clothes will be covered with blood. I will document the whole thing to share online with my motivations. The motivation: 1. So no one will ever call me handsome or good-looking ever again. Someone so handsome or good-looking should theoretically have few problems with women. Where have mine been?
Do you have any comprehension of how agonizing it is to be told for decades of how good-looking you are, but to have my pathetic track record with women? Of course not. Because everyone has a better track record with women than me. Everyone! No, it has nothing to do with Asperger's.
There are plenty of so-called Aspies who also have a much better track record with women than me. It's too late now. Someone the other day said I just need a BJ. Ha! How simplistic. 22 years ago, perhaps. Who was it that told me that? A gay bloke on highfive.com. Apparently, people I have no trouble attracting against all my desires. I wanted women, not men. Men were never an option. Not only this, but do you have any comprehension of how painfully agonizing it is to have something you do not want, under any circumstances whatsoever propositioning you? While all the time you cannot have what you really want? This has gone on for 20 plus years. I tried having gay and bi friends, and they all thought the same thing of my appearance. It wasn't going to happen with them, and ultimately, the friendships were trashed forever. I don't even want sex anymore, let alone relationships. No average woman, no supermodels. They are all the same. Vessels for evil. No, I am expelling the last vestiges of what it means to be human. This means no regard for love, for sex, for adulation. Only for attaining my ultimate purpose in life. 2. As a reminder to others of what pure, unadulterated evil looks like and its consequences, I will, at that stage, become much more likely to venture outside, just to harm and psychologically scar others with my newly butchered face. The documentary evidence available for everyone to see should hopefully contribute towards this. 3. As a reminder to myself of what my ultimate purpose, it has never been so crystal clear to me. Every time I look in the mirror, or perhaps even feel the newly butchered texture of my face, I will be reminded. Human beings have made it clear to me that they are nothing more than cockroaches. So be it. I will become the biggest pest controller in the history of the human species, or at least die trying. Most likely you. None of you. Don't believe I will do this. Or some of you will get this message after the act is complete. Or are such typically lazy, stereotypical human cockroaches that you will see the length of this message and conclude, "Too long, didn't read," as the teenagers say. But I know this is the most rational course of action. Now for a shave, a shower, and some beer. I'm going to have to get moving. It's already almost 5 p.m., and I have a masterpiece to carve. You probably all think this is a sick action, that I am deeply troubled. No to the first, yes to the second. It's a completely rational action. Most people would use a tool such as suicide at this stage. Or in fact, 20 years ago, they wouldn't have lasted this long. Or perhaps they'd pick up a gun or sword and run around killing strangers. And I've made threats like that more than once. Others would use hard drugs. They'd become hopelessly addicted to crack cocaine, or heroin, or methamphetamine. I have enough problems in life without becoming a junkie, and being a junkie would distract me from my future plans. Suffice it to say, something extreme would be done. P.S. Any attempt to institutionalize me will result either in suicide, or me, more likely me, eventually and quickly conning the doctors
and telling them exactly what they want to hear to prove I'm all better now. You have any idea how stupid those people really are? They have never dealt with anyone remotely like me. I am not, and never was, sick. Your society is, to its core.
What a fucking delightful way to spend an evening. Sounds cool. Send me a link when you're done.
Subject. Sorry. If my forwards are getting boring or depressing, I thought you might find them funny as most people would. If you want me to stop, say so, and I will.
They're depressing, to be honest. I don't know how you expect these people to, like, help or even communicate with you when you say the terrible toxic things that you do. You really come off as a spoiled kid hungry for attention, and you seem to have discovered that it's easier to get that attention by saying negative things. And obviously, the impact of this has worn off. So you make empty threats about self-harm, which I'm guessing are also losing their impact. I know anything I say to you is going to be turned into me, me, me. You really need to think about other people, how they feel, their lives. The world doesn't rotate around you. You aren't the center of the universe. To be honest, I really don't know why I'm replying to you anymore. Because you treat everything I say as an argument that is up for debate, instead of sitting and contemplating what you're doing, how you're thinking. You seem smart enough to take control of your brain if you really want to. I just think you're not strong enough.
Agree with your analysis, but, you know, it's not easy. Where does one begin? I guess not saying anything else toxic. Probably also cutting my losses with most of those people and realizing I'm not going to get anything from them, and that the baggage is probably too heavy with them. Maybe starting again with new people and putting what you say into practice. At least with new people, the slate would be clean. Just need to ensure it stays that way. I think because most of them were parental type figures, I had certain expectations. A better way of getting attention is probably through indie efforts. And again, new people. Again, I'd like to apologize for the depressing effect of these forwards. And if I came across as adversarial with you, this was certainly not intended at all. I also hope you have a great day. And if I can help with anything, give me a shout. Smiley face.
In our next chapter, more insanity, more abuse, and multiple arrests. And I assure you, you do not want to miss our next chapter. So if you are new, make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss out. Quick warning, the Stalker reads each and every comment that you leave on here, so as usual, be careful what you say. And if you're not caught up on this series, we've got an entire playlist with all of the episodes. I will pin it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this half as much as I enjoyed making it, please hit that thumbs up. It really helps out in YouTube's algorithm.